Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the countryside. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're back at Corfe Castle in Dorset. It's about 4 miles southeast of Wareham and 4 miles northwest of Swanage. And we're going to be doing a slightly unusual walk today in that it'll be a linear route of about 5 miles from Corfe to Swanage, primarily along the Purbeck Way, which takes us on a ridge with some quite stunning views. And when we get to Swanage, we'll be getting on the Swanage Heritage Steam railway and coming back to Corfe Castle, which you can see behind me. Now I'm filming in the middle of June. It's a glorious sunny morning. Hardly a cloud in the sky. It is quite early. We're going to get our walk done before it gets too hot. Now I've parked my car at the Challow Hill Walkers car park. It is free, but it is quite small. There are other car parks in Corfe Castle itself. They are fee paying. There is another free one, again quite small, quite close to the National Trust car park to the north of Corfe Castle. Anyway, let's kick on. Well, gradually heading uphill towards the top of a ridge. And we're actually on the Purbeck Way, which is a 28-mile long distance path that runs from Wareham in the north to Corfe Castle and then along Ballard down to Swanage. Although there is a section that goes to Chapman's Pool as well over in the south. Just a little pit stop as we make our way up just to admire the view. So there we go, there's Corfe Castle. Of course, we have been there before in a previous video, so if you haven't seen that one, do check that one out. And also the church, which we had a look at. And oh, isn't it glorious this morning? And of course, on that walk, we actually started at Kingston, which you can see right in the far distance, the church there. And we did the sort of circular walk to Corfe and back. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Whew, we made it to the top of the ridge. So I'm on the top of Rollington Hill. I mean, some fantastic views from up here. So behind me, well, you can see a radio mast and there's Corfe Castle behind. So, but if we look down to the north, there's Wareham over there, and then turning around, Poole Harbour. And the sea looking quite blue today. And then slowly turning around to show you the view to the south. As I said already, Kingston over there. And there's a lovely little breeze up here cooling us all down. It's beautiful. Well, we're making good progress along the Purbeck Way along the top of this ridge, and let's check out these views. So this is looking back to Corfe Castle, and we've been making our way up Brenscombe Hill, and just panning across to the south. We're on Ailwood Down now, and I've got to look out now for some Neolithic, well, a Neolithic barrow and something like 17 bowl barrows from the Bronze Age. And just as I pan round, our first sort of sighting of our final destination at Swanage in the distance there. Of course, we can see the sea in the very, very far distance. And indeed, here are some of those bowl barrows. There's about 3 of them together. You can easily make out the ditches. I say there's quite a few up here all along the ridge, and very, very easy to make out. Covered in these lovely little yellow wildflowers. Well, just standing on top of one of these barrows gives a really good vantage point looking north at Poole Harbour. It really is quite huge. I think it's the 2nd largest natural harbour in the world. I think only Sydney Harbour is bigger. But you really do get an impression of its magnitude from here, don't you? I tell you, the weather is quite glorious, and of course the scenery quite spectacular. So I'm on the side of Kingswood down. Of course, the chalk hills aren't a sort of continuous ridge along these parts. There are gaps, for example, at Corfe Castle in the west and Ailwood in the east. Of course, the Purbeck Hills are almost vertical chalk produced by movement nearly 20 million years ago. And the chalk was affected by the pressure of these folding movements. So you get, well, not the soft white limestone of the Dorset Downs, but a much harder and more brittle rock. So you get lots of faults and cracks. And the faults provided lines of weakness and allow streams to erode the gaps, which is what you've got, say, at Corfe Castle. Well, you never know what you're going to come across on a walk, do you? This looks like an abandoned trig point. Of course, we always bag those, so we're going to somehow have to come up with a way of doing that. We're now starting to make our way off the ridge and heading down into Swanage itself. And I'm just by Godlingston Hill. In fact, if you look at an old 1901 map, I think there was once a 350-yard rifle range here. And there's some terrific old names, Giant's Grave and Giant's Trencher. But before we sort of continue heading down, you probably just see behind me in the far distance an obelisk. And there it is on the brow of the hill there. A chap called George Burt erected it there in 1892 to celebrate the installation of water supply in Swanage in 1883. It was actually originally situated in London outside St Mary of the Nativity Church, basically on the corner of King William Street and Lombard Street near Bank. And it's one of a number of objects or structures that made their way from London to Swanage. If you want to know the full story, well, check out my Swanage video. But the obelisk itself was dismantled in the Second World War and then rebuilt in 1973. Well, just before we drop into Swanage, coming off the ridge, it's a marvellous old manor house here. This is Godlingston Manor, a medieval house incorporating a circular tower on the west end there, very much defensive in origin. It dates back to 1300 and it was altered in the 17th and 18th centuries and then was partly rebuilt after a fire in the 19th century. just in the outskirts of Swanage now, and here is where the old Swanage Gas Works used to be located. If you look at an old map, in fact there's a stone plaque here at the Greyston garage on the side of the building, and indeed if I look carefully, yes, there's one of the old iron gates. Of course coal was brought in by train off the old main line in days gone by.
Right, so there's your tickets. £4 check.
Lovely, thank you very much. Right. Ooh. Hello.
A, B in the front half of C is available, okay?
A, B. Right, we've got our ticket. Well, we've made it to Swanage, just in time to catch the 10:30 steam train back to Corfe Castle. Well, I thought we'd have a little look and see what's going to be taking us. What a magnificent bit of machinery. I hope you can hear me above the noise. Oh, isn't that fantastic? I know nothing at all about steam trains, but I don't think I've ever been on one before. Right, I better get on, otherwise I'll get left behind. Why? Well, here we go. We've got our tickets. Logan's got his ticket with woof written on it. He's never been on a train before. Let's go. Come on. Ooh. Whew. We're safely seated now, so hopefully we'll get some good footage as we go along. Now, Logan's down by my feet. Although he's got his ticket, which costs £2, he's not actually allowed on the seats, but he's quite happily snoozing away on his little mat. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the Swanage Railway. There was a branch line from Wareham to Swanage, was opened in 1885, but the passenger service was withdrawn in 1972. It's now operated as a heritage railway. The actual line itself is 9.5 miles long, with stations at Norden, Corfe Castle, Harmon's Cross, Hurstenholt and Swanage. And it was restored gradually from the 1980s onwards. Well, we're definitely going now. And although Logan hasn't got a seat, there is a nice window that he can look out. Oh, there we go. Logs, look out the window. Hey, what's that there? What's that there? Hey, what's that there? Looks like this is our first stop, Harmon's Cross. Oh, look at the milk churns there. Oh, it's like going back in time. Fantastic. And here we are, arriving at Corfe Castle, just beginning to appear behind the trees on the hill there. We're going to go this way. And there we go, 31806. What a fantastic journey. Oh, I love that. And off she goes. The next stop is Norden, I think. Brilliant. And if we're just behind the trees, just see the bit of Corfe Castle itself. Well folks, we've come to the end of our journey at Corfe Castle station. We hope you enjoyed the walk. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment. And do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks. We're off to find a cup of tea somewhere in Corfe Castle. So until we meet again, thanks for watching and cheerio. Well folks, we've come to the end of our journey, Corfe Castle station.